Hey everybody, welcome to the infinite regression. Oh my goodness, look at it. It just goes on and on and on forever. Boy, what a terrible place to be stuck in. Haha, and you're stuck here. You literally are stuck here. You went screwing around on the internet, and now look at you, stuck here in the infinite regression. And of course, the voice which is speaking to you, it is I, your host, the mysterious personage known only as the Badger. Now, did you all do the hands thing when I said my name? Because I certainly did the hands thing. Totally do a hands thing. It's very impressive. Anyway, now, the beauty of the infinite regression is we got video games here. And today we're going to be talking about a game called Roguebreaker. Now, Roguebreaker is something that you will immediately recognize. You may have played it on an iPod. You may have played it on your very first cell phone of the fliptacular variety. Who knows? You may have played it on an Atari. You may have played it as a standalone console type of game in the days when Pong roamed the land. I don't know how you played it for the first time. I have no idea. But many people played this as Arkanoid or Blockbreaker, something of that sort. And it's been around forever. But sometimes those classic gameplay styles, there's a reason they stick around. Because gameplay is king. And if a game is fun in 1974 or whatever. I don't know when the first iteration of this came out. I suppose I could do a little research, but then again, I could not do the research, and neither could you, and neither of us will know. Anyway, so here's the deal. Roguebreaker. Now, it's based on this classic gameplay that we all recognize. The very first time I remember playing a game like this, Bananoids. I know it looks like Bananoids or Banananoids or something of the sort. I assure you, it is Bananoids. What does it have to do with bananas? Literally nothing. But it's an old DOS game that I played way back in the day. And I was actually quite good at it at one point in my life, believe it or not. Anyhoozle, the fact is that this style of game has been around forever. So, what does Roguebreaker do that is different? Yeah. The answer to that is not as much as you'd think. Oh, I do want to mention this. I do want to not forget to mention this because it's important. This game came into my library because my lovely wife one night was like, I want to play a game, a block-breaking game. And so she just went on Steam and just searched and found this one for 99 cents and was like, yeah, that looks fine. And then bought it. And then started playing it. And then I got jealous. And I was like, well, I want to play that. Now, little did I know that, like, thanks to Russians, long story, I have probably a couple other block-breaking games in my Steam library. But yeah, I bought this one for 99 cents as well. And away we went. So, you'll notice that this thing is let me hit the things that I don't like first, and then we'll get into what I do like. Here's what I don't like. It's called Roguebreaker. Roguebreaker. Come on, mouth. Say the word. Roguebreaker. If you go to the store page on Steam and under the, tags for this product, you will find action roguelike. No, not accepted. Sorry. Like, I just do not accept that because that's not what this is. I know that because they have power ups that are unlockable, that and the fact that the levels change, that they, I don't know if they're even procedurally generated. When you start a level, you'll just see it shifting on screen until you launch your first ball, and then it just kind of solidifies what the level is. So, does that make it a roguelike? No. Look, uh, people have been playing fast and loose with the roguelike sort of naming of things that are in no way like Rogue. Because remember, Rogue is an actual game that still exists that people still play. Therefore, if it is going to be roguelike, it's like calling something a Metroidvania. Didn't we have that in The Vagrant where it was like, we're a Metroidvania? No, you're not. You are in no way like Super Metroid. You are in no way like Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I understand that there could be, cross genre business, but just because you have power ups that unlock and you have somewhat randomized levels does not make you a roguelike. I'm sorry. That's just facts. So that's number one. Number two is it jumps hard on the whole, like, I remember the 1980s. I was alive then because I am now old. So the fact of the matter is that, yeah, this does not necessarily call to mind the actual 1980s. It calls to mind these sort of falsified 1980s of vaporwave, that whole thing. So those are not my favorite things. It tries a little too hard at being retro cool, and it also, the fact that it's called Roguebreaker, I take exception. But with those gripes aside, this game is really super fun. There are lots of things that I like about it. First of all, this must be said, is that this is the first ever game that I have played of this type where the tie goes to the player. When you're playing a paddle game like this, a block breaking game, and like you hit, like, the hitbox on the paddle is got to be box shaped because it's a box. And so the hitbox should be shaped exactly like your paddle is shaped. And yet it so very often is not. And yeah. So the fact that you'll see sometimes where it's almost like the ball is going through the paddle, yeah, no, that's you winning. Like that is you getting the benefit of the doubt from the game, because the ball will go partially through to the ground and then get picked up by your paddle sweeping in at the last second to try and grab that ball. I like that. I also like the fact that the impacts from the ball, it seems weighted, because if you hit the paddle off-centered, the paddle will tilt, which is pretty cool. Also, the sides of the paddle, you can actually use, unlike a lot of paddle type, ball type, blocky breaky type games, you can actually intentionally hit it off the side and angle it that way with more control and better than you can in a lot of these type of games. And I appreciate that very much. The speed can get a little breakneck, a little crazy. I do like that there are unlockable power-ups and whatnot, and you have to make a choice between the two that they present. That's pretty cool. But ultimately, like, what that does by making it that you are unlocking power-ups in between levels, that means that you're unlocking fewer power-ups during the level. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll get to where it'll be a second ball and stuff, but that's about where it ends. Anyway, so yeah, little bit of a, give and a take here. Little bit of a, like, well, if you take this, you got to take that as well. That is the whole thing. So you put it all together. Roguebreaker, is it good? Well, the thing is that to be a good version of this game, all you have to be is not bad. Like, you have to not screw up simple gameplay that's been around for literally forever. And then, yes, you can be good. It's just a matter of how good. So if you give me a second, I will put a final score on this, and then we'll zip on out. Okay, so here's what I'm doing with Roguebreaker. Is that, yes, I am comparing it to Bananoids, which I just played a little bit of, because DOS games are readily available online. Also, DOSBox. Also, yeah, totally find it. Do it. You won't. Yeah. Even though it has no soundtrack, and Roguebreaker has a bumpin' soundtrack, Bananoids is the better game of the two, in my opinion. Yes, of course, I'm nostalgic for it. And, of course, my judgment is, of course, clouded as a result. But the variety of the power-ups and the way that you get them in Bananoid, I prefer as opposed to Roguebreaker. Just a personal preference. But I will say this. Your 99 cents, or possibly less if it's on sale, is well spent on Roguebreaker. It is a good game. It is a fun game. Yes, I do take exception with little things, and that's me being all nitpicky and ridiculous, but it is, in general, good. So I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 possible Bananoids. And that's it. That's how I feel. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I shouldn't wax any more rhapsodic about a ball and paddle bricky breaky game. So that'll do it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.